Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. This is a kayaking adventure, and Susie has come along. Oh, yeah. Hi, Susie.
Hi.
It is a beautiful day here in Tennessee. We are at Watauga Lake. It is gorgeous here. The leaves are changing colors. Oh, man. The weather is perfect.
It's been a while since I've been out for a good paddle, and I'm excited for today. It's just a day adventure, but it's going to be a good one. Okay, I'm out on the water. Got to get my water legs. We got to get Luke over here in the water. Yeah, it's a good day. The water's really calm, which I'm glad about. Nothing is worse than trying to paddle on a really windy day. The water can be super choppy. So far, just calm water right now.
Today is the perfect day to get out to do some paddling. Now, these conditions are not going to last. Tomorrow, colder, windier, rain, then more wind, more cold, snow. With the conditions being so good, we figured that we would get out here today, share an adventure with you all, and do some paddling. As we're going out into the water here, I could see some whitecaps already. Because of that, and the direction of the waves, Susie and I, we have to be smart about this. We do not want to go parallel with those waves. So we are going to go to the left, diagonally into those waves. And when we get far enough out, we'll turn and we'll let those waves just push us straight to the island. Our plan is to go out to this island and have a good lunch. There's Susie over there, making her way. We found the wind. I will be honest, I love choppy water. I've been out here before at Watauga Lake when the winds are blowing roughly 30 miles an hour, and it is something else. It's like paddling out in the ocean. Now, some people may not like that sort of thing. Susie may not like that too much. She may get a little bit seasick, but it really does depend on what you like, what you can put up with. But personally, I love it. Let me explain what we're doing here exactly in a little bit more detail. Basically, we are going to make nature work for us while taking the path of least resistance. The waves are coming in like this, so if we go directly into that, that's going to be tough. But if we go diagonally, a whole lot easier. Once we get to the right point, we will turn and we will let those waves push us straight to the island. Speaking of which, we are basically at that point. It is time to make that turn. What do you think about going up to the beach here? You can see that tree. There's shade underneath it. We could go there. Because it's so windy and so choppy, I don't know about getting out of the boat. I don't want to do something that Susie's not comfortable with, and she may not be comfortable with this. So what we're doing here, folks, we're going around this island here on the side. There's a cove up here that should be more protected. On this side of the island, we will get a break from the waves and the wind. Well, until the wind direction changes, I guess. Sometime back, I camped on this island. Maybe it was last year or the year before. I called this island Snake Island, but I believe it's called Clifford Island, something like that. I call it Snake Island because there are a ton of snakes out here. I've seen them in the water surrounding this island many, many times. Hi, Susie.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, it's so much better over here.
Yes, it is. Thank God for this island. It was last year, folks. Lucas and I, we came out for a paddle trip, just a day trip. And we were going around this island and we saw a bald eagle in a tree. It was a very, very cool experience. I love seeing bald eagles. They are gigantic. If you've never seen one, it'll surprise you. They are huge. Check this out, folks. We have a crane. Do you see him? Now later on this afternoon, the winds are supposed to pick up and get windier throughout the night. So after we have lunch, we will have to decide what to do. Our plan is to do more exploring, but we'll see. Already it's pretty choppy. Because it's so calm on this side, getting out of the boat's gonna be nice and easy. I think I could do so without even my feet getting wet. On the other side of the island, there's just waves crashing into it. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but the lake has been drawn down for the year. This is something that happens with a lot of man-made lakes. And that's a way to control the amount of water that's in it. Because in the fall, we get heavy rains, and then you have snow melt. Oh yeah, perfect. Just like that, everyone. Okay, stick your paddle into the ground.
Okay.
Right next to the boat. Now use that to push yourself up.
Okay.
Normally, everyone, the water level is right here. So you can see that this has been dropped down about 6 feet or so. Wow, this campsite looks good. They've been working on this. Previously, this was pretty junky, to be honest. There was a fallen tree here in the middle. There were like branches going everywhere. This looks good. I can't say that I've seen people do this before with bottle caps. Corona. Ugh. That is the worst beer, at least in my opinion.
Luke and I are about to start gathering firewood. In fact, he's already getting a jump on it, but I'm gonna help him here in a minute. I was just talking to him about how nice it is to be mid-November. It is really hot today, and it's one of those years where typically we're about to get ready for Thanksgiving. Everyone's thinking about cooking turkeys and eating a big meal. It really hasn't even turned cold for us yet, which is unusual. But the leaves this year, now they have been gorgeous. It's just a warm year so far, but I'm hoping it changes soon. There's some talk of snow coming in, and I kind of hope maybe today's like the last nice warm day and we will get that snow that we've been wanting.
We did get like a trace of snow the other day, and I had a plan to go out into it, film a trip, but unfortunately I was sick. I came down with, get this, shingles of all things. That was the last thing that I expected. After the previous stealth camping trip, in that episode, I was actually trying to like move the camera and I hurt my back, right? Well, apparently like the chickenpox virus hides in your nerves. So it was like basically in that nerve. So as soon as I hurt my back, it set it off. Now, luckily I've overcome this very, very quickly, but it was like 1 week of torture. And now I'm okay.
As for Luke having shingles, he did end up missing just a tiny bit of snow. It really didn't work out to what they had called for, so I don't think he was that disappointed. But the shingles has been very interesting for him. Luckily, I had chickenpox as a kid. If you haven't had chickenpox and you did not get vaccinated, if you are around somebody with shingles, you will get chickenpox. The shingles is much more painful, so if you get chickenpox, it's really not that big of a deal. Anyway, it has been interesting, but Luke made it look easy and he's bounced back very quickly. So hopefully if snow arrives, it will be a decent and good one for him because he certainly deserves that.
I'm no expert about shingles or anything, but from what I've read, like it sounds like it could be like truly terrible. I mean, it can last for like months. Luckily, I was able to get some high dosage medicine and I'm doing okay. I still have it, I'm still dealing with it, but it's not painful. It's basically healing up. I tell you, feels so good to be out of the house and just to feel good because, as I mentioned before, the virus hides in your nerves. Anyway, so I was having like sciatic pain. I was like, gosh, I really hurt myself. And then all of a sudden I started breaking out in this rash. And it's interesting, even the rash itself, like typically it's only on one side of the body or the other. For myself, it's on the left side. So it spreads over to my back and there's like a perfect line where it stops. How bizarre is that? You know, folks, it's pretty funny. The other day, our son, he was out on a hiking trip by himself, and he brought with him a stove and some coffee. And so he had like a package of something, and like something good, you know, like a flavored coffee sort of thing. And he had some Taster's Nasty as well. So, you know me, I like to mix Taster's Nasty in with everything, and I call it the upgrade, right? So he came home and he was telling us about that coffee. It was pretty funny.
He hated it. Oh gosh, he was like, Mom, do you have anything that I can take next time that actually tastes good?
I think I was in the bedroom and I'm like, huh? What are you talking about? Yeah, and he's like, yeah, it just didn't taste that good. And he's like, but the funny thing is, he's like, as I was going back to the car, I felt like I was just like running that trail. And
Yeah.
he said that his eyes hurt.
He did hike in record time for the amount of miles that he did.
That's true.
So clearly he benefited from the upgrade, but he hated the taste of it, so.
It's so funny, like, how many people write us, and they're like, Luke, that Taster's Nasty is awful. Very rarely does someone write in and say, hey, that was really good.
I know, it's really funny. They're like, it's so bad, why do you drink
Yeah.
it? He doesn't care.
Don't care. The upgrade makes you walk fast, and your eyes hurt, so.
And puts hair all over the place.
Yeah, that's true. It really does.
Lucas does not need that.
Neither do you.
No. So quit upgrading our coffee.
So. No upgrade for you.
I'll take a downgrade. I'll take an upgrade.
That's the downgrade. That is the upgrade. It's go time. Look at all those leaves coming out of the trees. Without a doubt, everyone, it is getting windy, and I can see quite a bit of chop out in the lake now. So Susie and I, we might have quite the battle to get out of here. I have been, as I mentioned before, out in this lake during some pretty strong winds, gale force strength, and it's something else. It really is. Unfortunately, Susie has a tendency to have like seasickness, so we'll see how this goes.
Hopefully it won't be a big deal. I mean, I've kayaked enough to where I've never had any issues, but again, I don't like kayak in the ocean or real choppy waters very often, so hopefully no sickness.
While Susie is boiling some more water for our lunch, I'm going to go over some tips for you all. So you may be able to use these on your next paddle. So first off, it is super important to have a dry box inside of your kayak. Inside of this, you can keep your wallet, your keys, your phone. You can keep some chapstick, whatever you want, a snack in there, and it will protect it. The most important thing is that you have a way to clip that dry box to your kayak. So if you flip your kayak, it doesn't fly out. The next thing that you will need is a dry bag. This is a way to keep all of your gear dry. So let's say that you're going out for a camping trip. You can have your tent in there, your sleeping bag, so on and so forth. Everything inside of that dry bag, and you can keep it watertight. No matter what, you will get some water inside of your kayak. There's no way to avoid it, so a dry bag is needed. Next, folks, I recommend the right type of life jacket. You can see here with this life jacket, the padding on the back is not too thick, and you have this section of mesh down below. Now, that section of mesh pretty much lines up with the back seat of the kayak. So you can put this on, and you don't have this big piece of flotation device kind of between you and the back of the seat. So the right type of life jacket is super important, especially if you want to be comfortable. Something else that I recommend highly is to put on your life jacket and go for a swim with it on. That way you can see how it feels to wear it and to be floating in the water with it. It's one of those things where you need to get a good feel for it so that you know how to behave just in case something happens to your boat. So for whatever reason, the boat tips, the boat sinks, you know exactly what that life preserver, what that life jacket is going to do to you. You know the ways that it's going to pull you and to keep you floating. It's best to know this information beforehand rather than learning it in the middle of a bad situation. The next bit of advice involves two pieces of gear. One is a towel and the other is a sponge. You need a boat sponge and you need a towel. The towel is basically to sit on. You could sit on this, you could put it behind your back, have it inside the boat. Trust me. You will need this. You will be happy that you have it. Yeah, you can use that to dry off if you want to, but more than anything, to have a pillow inside of your boat. When you spend hours paddling, your back will get sore. A good kayaking position tends to wear on your back a little bit over time. So having that towel, you could take it, shove it behind your back, and you can get the support that you need. Trust me, folks, you will be happy that you have it. With the sponge, that's to basically get out any sort of water. You may be paddling, throwing some water in, you may have a wave come over. That sponge is going to be awesome. You could just leave it in the boat, it could soak up all the water, and then you could squeeze it out. Next, my friends, when you're out in a body of water, it doesn't matter if it's a lake or a river or whatever, you need to go with the motion of the water. There will be times where your boat is influenced by the current, by the waves, and so on. When that happens, it's important to move the kayak with the motion of the water or the forces that are influencing you. Think of it like this. You're riding in your truck and your vehicle and you hit a patch of ice. If you slam on the brakes, what happens, right? You crash. That's why you have to take control of the vehicle. You steer, give it a little bit of gas, then brake. You control the vehicle. You control the slide. The same applies when you're out in a body of water. Don't fight the movement. Go with it and gain control. Use that kinetic energy to your benefit. If your boat begins to spin, follow through with the motion and adjust accordingly. My last tip for you all is this. Before you hit the water, make sure to check the conditions. What is it doing now and what is it going to do in the future? You need to know this. Before you head out into any sort of water, you need to know what the wind is going to do because the wind is going to play a major impact on the kayaking that you do and how comfortable you are. If a situation arises where it's simply too windy for you to go directly into the waves, go diagonally into them. That will make things substantially easier. Even if that means that you have to zig and zag to your destination, that's the way to go. That's what we did to get to this island. We went diagonally into the waves and we went far enough. And then when we were at the right angle, we turned and we let the waves push us right on in. It's all about using Mother Nature to work for you and not against you.
Apparently, I love playing with fire. It is so much fun to feed this stove. And so far, the highlight of the trip is right here. I'm playing with fire, feeding the beast.
Talking about shingles for a second, if you've had chickenpox, then the virus is hiding inside of you somewhere. It doesn't go away. And that's what happened with me. The virus itself hides in your nerves along your spine. So when I was out for the camping trip, hurt my back, and it set that thing off. Hopefully this is like a one and done sort of thing. I mean, some people will have shingles one time, that's it. Some people will have shingles like a couple times a month or a couple times a year, and it could pop up pretty much anywhere on your body. So if you've had chickenpox, good luck. Cheers, my friends. Cheers. Here's to feeling good all the time. Too bad I don't have a beer and a cigarette in my mouth, and I'm drinking all of the beer while puffing. Try this and tell me this isn't. Give that a shot, Susie.
That is good.
It's so
You're
good.
not getting it back now.
I bet yours tastes awful. Here, drink that one. I'll drink this thing.
Oh no, I'm just kidding.
Let me add something to it though.
I'm kidding.
Some taster's nasty. Are you ready, Susie?
I'm ready.
It's windy.
It's so windy.
Let's do this. I could see that there's quite a bit of wave action towards the center of the lake here. So I think what Susie and I are going to do is begin going around the island. That makes the most sense. I definitely don't want to push Susie to her limits and make her feel sick. That would not be good. Susie is already ahead. Let's catch up with her. The crows up here, they're ticked. There's a hawk in this tree. Crows over here, hawk right there. They're trying to scare it off. So the crow's on top of that tree. There's a hawk right below them. All right, so we're going around the island now, babe. Gosh, it is windy. We're about to get a break though. Just for a second. We are now going to the east side of the island. It is much, much calmer. Here in a second, we will go to the south side, head out into the center. It's going to get pretty choppy. You can see quite a few whitecaps already. So basically, our plan is the same. The same principles that we used to get out here, we will use to get back to where we parked at. Now, unfortunately, it's getting so windy, we really can't do as much paddling as we wanted to. Our plan was to do quite a bit of exploration, but it's simply getting too windy. Susie's already feeling a little bit queasy from this. Our plan is to go diagonally. Diagonal. We do not want to go parallel with the waves. Here's a wave, here's our boat. We do not want that. That's when you're going to tip. While we were having lunch, I went down to the boat to get some chapstick, right? There were two kayakers going by, and it's so windy that they went ahead and attached to each other. We're not at the point now where we need to attach our boats, but I do have that capability if we need to. Woo! You are doing a great job. Now for this boat and the green one, I do not have a skirt, and that's okay. A little bit of splash today, no big deal. Even a wave, that'd be fine. Luckily, it's so warm that this water feels great.
The breeze is picking up and we're trying to come over to the opposite side of the lake. Every time I stop to give my arms a break, I feel like I lose all my progress because I start going backwards, which is pretty funny. It's not too bad, but it's nice to be able to stop for a second just to catch my breath. Paddling in the wind is no joke.
That wave got me. That just soaked my entire side. Whew, feels good. So we are almost into this cove here. Then most of the chop will be over for us, so that's good. In the future, everyone, maybe this winter, we will do a winter kayaking trip here on the lake. We'll go explore, find a place to camp. There's a lot more options when the lake has been drawn down like this. Need a hand? It may not seem like much time has passed since we left the island, but it's been hours. That has been a chore, fighting those waves, the wind, the current. You would stop paddling and all of a sudden you'd be shooting back feet at a time.
Lose all the progress you made. So I am exhausted. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us for this day kayak adventure.
Yeah. Talk about a beautiful place. It's just amazing. So the next trip will hopefully be a snow survival adventure. We'll see how that goes, folks. Everyone, take care, be well. Again, thank you for joining us for this trip. We appreciate it. On to the next.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.